Oh, but apparently I have 1.4% of the antidote. I was gonna say 14, but there's like this little dot there, and I think it's meant to be like as in 1.4. Plus, look how low the green is. Like, there's nothing at all. Alright, so, let's do some research. And then maybe we'll wrap up with some romance. Alright, what can we research? Time to round up some rowdy kitties. A slow day today. I've only got to organize a few samples from previous field trips. Today off on the field trip of sorts with the professor. I can't wait to see what he's planning to show me. Well, let's do that one. That looks fun. Do it. Professor Popper told me to be ready early and dressed for hiking, as we're doing field work this morning. I'm not sure that I have anything that would pass for a hiking gear, to be honest. Oh, sorry, I read that weird. I'm not sure that I have anything that would pass for hiking gear, to be honest. Some sturdy shoes would be good. Oh, well, lab coat and trainers it is, then, why can't... Oh, well, lab coat and trainers it is, then, as usual. A message from the professor lights up my catalog. Set to go. I'm waiting outside my tent. Set to go? I've lost my reading skills after not streaming for 1 or 2 weeks? Apparently. Zoe, are you ready for our fieldwork today? Yes, of course. Professor, may I ask where we are going? Somewhere I think you'll find very interesting. The professor hands me a backpack. Here, take this bag. It's very full, but surprisingly light. Is it time for you to leave? Alright, I'll let you know if I find a good prospective romance for you after you finish scratching. You done? Popper has set off at a brisk pace, calling back to me over his shoulder. This way! I run to catch up to him? After some serious walking, with me struggling to keep up, the professor stops abruptly and listens. Do you hear that? There's a distant sound of bubbling water. We're almost there. Secretly, I'm relieved, as I don't think I could go much further. Just a little climbing. Climbing? I hide my dismay. Where does he get his energy from? It's just at the top there. It's not a difficult climb as it looks. We are in front of an almost vertical rock face. Just copy me. He clambers up expertly. I manage to find a spot that will support my foot and start the climb. I make little progress before slipping and falling flat on my bum. I try again. This time I take it slow. Again, I fall. What happened to the benefits of catification that others keep going on about? The professor notices I'm having trouble and holds a hand out for me. I manage to climb up, just enough to take hold of him, and he lifts me the rest of the way. His strength is impressive. Curious, even. Not a fan of climbing, eh? Can't say I've done much of it, Professor. Come along, then. I can get you there. He pretty much pulls me all the way to the top, and then leads me to the entrance of a small cave. The sound of running water is very loud now. I instantly see why. A natural spring has cut its way through the rock and created a beautiful cascade of sparkling, clear water. It looks delicious. I kneel down without thinking and begin to drink. It tastes amazing. As I come up for breath, I see the professor looking at me with suspicion. You should know better. It is never wise, under any circumstances, to ingest something that is unproven. But here, on this island, it would be prudent to exercise more caution than usual. I feel embarrassed at my lack of consideration. Yes, of course, sir. I wasn't thinking. I felt so thirsty, and it looked so good. I do understand. Many have made the same error. Fortunately for you, this is tried and tested for safety consumption. It's good, don't you think? My body feels suddenly re-energized. I feel like I could climb any wall. It's incredible. I feel fantastic. What's in it? We don't know. That's why we're here. We need more samples. We've been studying this water for months now, and we still know very little about it. Check your bag. I open my bag. It's full to the brim with empty plastic bottles. We'll need to fill all of these with water. We're going to need as much as we can carry. I do as he says. By the time the bottles are full and back in my bag, it weighs a ton. What? That's not how you spell ton, is it? Or is it a pun? Or... I don't understand. That's not how you... Whatever. But I feel like I can lift anything. The effect of the water is powerful. The professor has also packed his own rucksack with bottles. That should do us for now. Let's get these back. As we make our way down the rock face and back to camp, I have no problem keeping up with the professor. I feel I could run all the way. However, as we get closer to home, I start to feel the effect wear off. My bag becomes unbearably heavy. The final limp into camp is torture. I need to rest. Time for some romance. 2.8%. Woo! It's time for some romance. Oh, they're not unlocked. Okay, so it's either McMurphy or Snooty Booty. I love saying that. Snooty Booty. Let's go for... And there's a mystery person, cat, there. Maybe the one who's messaging us? You know what? Let's go for Snooty Booty. I'm feeling it. I'm splayed out like a starfish on the beach in my bathing clothes. It's a sweltering hot day, and I find it hard to concentrate on my work, so here I am. I let the cool sea wash over my feet and legs as I lay back on the sand. I hear a long, loud sigh coming from somewhere nearby, and I sit up to see where it came from. Snooty Booty, in response, under the shade of a palm tree, is looking about her with a concerned expression, one that I've never really seen a cat make before. I go over to her to see if I can help with something. Are you okay, Snooty Booty? She lets out another long, wistful sigh. To be quite frank with you, human, no, I am not okay. I cannot express this I cannot expose this delicate skin of mine to the sun, but there is something I need to retrieve from further down the beach. It is quite the predicament. Oh, right. Want me to fetch it for you? Oh, would you really be so kind, human? I would be very grateful. Sure, it's no problem. We can't have you putting that delicate skin of yours at risk, can we? Snooty Booty looks grave. Indeed not. Skincare must come above all else, don't you know? One must never expose one's skin to the elements. Human, it really is quite aging. One must also never get stressed if one wishes to retain one's youthful aura, which is rather difficult in this frightful island. Oh, I know, believe me. How do you know? Are you stressed? Oh no, that would upset me terribly. Really? That's sweet of you. Of course, you really are a precious thing. I do so hope you are finding your time here pleasant. Don't worry about me, Snooty Booty. I'm fine. Now, what is it you'd like me to get for you? Well, before I tell you, I must ask that you don't inform the others of the whereabouts of this particular item. It is very dear to me, you see, and one of the few luxuries I have to myself. Of course, that's no problem. I can be discreet when I need to be. I do hope so, human. You see, along the beach, just south of here, there is a tree which bears the ripest of coconuts all year round. It is quite splendid. The coconuts are always so sweet and creamy. Snooty Booty looks as if she's lost in a wonderful dream. Sounds lovely? It is! I like to drink coconut water as often as I can, and it is so good for the skin and waistline. But the less civilized denizens of the island keep knocking the coconuts down before they're fully matured. Fortunately, no one else seems to have discovered this particular tree yet. Well, okay, Snooty Booty. I love saying her stupid name. I'll try to find some coconuts for you. I'll be back soon. You have my thanks, human. I've been walking for a lot longer than Snooty Booty led me to believe. I'm not sure if this is even the right tree. They all look the same to me. Although, this one does seem to have more coconuts than the others. I decide to take a chance and bundle up as many as I can carry in my arms and haul them back to her ladyship. By the time I get back to Snooty Booty, I'm faint from the exertion, not to mention walking so far in the sun. I fall to my knees, panting in front of her. Here you go, Boots. She eyes the pile with a distinct air of disapproval. I only needed one coconut, human. Oh. These are far too many. Well, I do apologize, madame. Tell me you didn't plunder the tree. No, there were plenty on the ground already, so... Oh, well, that's a small mercy. At least you didn't hack them down. Hack them down? With what? Well, your hands are rather large and leathery. Snooty Booty, I do not use my hands for deforestation. Well, I'm sure you did your very best, although I really don't know what I'm going to do with so many coconuts. You're welcome, I'm sure. I look down at the pile of coconuts, and it strikes me properly for the first time how strange it is that there are no creatures on the island to plunder them. What do you think it is, Snoots, that keeps wildlife away from the island? Do you mean the magnificent... I thought she was going to say magnificent. Do you mean the magnetic barrier? Magnetic barrier? Oh, do keep up, human. I thought you were meant to be a scientist. I realize she must be referring to the force field that surrounds the island. Now, be a dear and crack one open for me. With my enormous hands? Well, you could try, I suppose. I push on the irritation that is slowly rising in me and smile politely. On second thoughts, I'll be right back with the screwdriver. A what? Snooty Booty looks horrified. It's a sharp metal tool that bores into things. What on earth do you need one of those for? So that I can make a hole to get the water out of the coconut. How else would you propose I do it? Well, look around you, dear. Look at nature's bounties. What about that? Snooty gestures with a limp paw at a shard of rock nearby. Snoots, how do you usually get the water out of the coconut when there isn't a human around? Well, the exuberant Kibble simply loves to break things. Had you not noticed? It's one of the few reasons I tolerate him, don't you know? Far better than one of your screw dribbers, don't you think? I reach over and pick up the rock. It does look like it could actually do the job. Okay, let's give it a try. Here goes. Holding the coconut in a palm leaf, I gently tap the shell a few times with the stone before finally whacking it. It cracks open surprisingly easily, and the water drains into the leaf. There now! See how nature provides, human? Yep, again, you're welcome. Quite. Snooty Booty stretches her neck and then up her body towards the leaf. She sticks her tongue out as far as it can go before raising her big eyes to me. I can't quite seem to... I suddenly realize what she's getting at. I'm a sucker for being nice. Let me help. I let her struggle for a moment or two before I begin to feel a little bit like a child pulling the wings off of a fly. She can't help the way she is. Oh, that's taking it a bit far, don't you think, Zoe? You seem to be struggling a bit, Boots. Well, you've placed my libation slightly out of my reach. Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like me to help? Bring it a little closer, perhaps? Well, of course I would, human. Are you being deliberately obtuse? I would very much like to help you, Snoots, but you make it rather difficult. How? I don't understand. I've been perfectly clear with my instruction. You see, I am under a spell. It's a very powerful one, which prevents me from following any instruction unless accompanied by some magic words. I love where she's going with this. Oh, would you care to enlighten me? Well, it would go something like this. Please, human, would you mind passing me my libation? Thank you very much. There is a pause during which I'm really not sure what Snooty Booty is thinking. Suddenly, the Sphinx erupts into peals of laughter. I seem to have forgotten my manners. Please do be so kind, human. I would be most delighted. Oh, go on then. I nudge the leaf closer to her, and she delicately laps at it. That was adorable. Okay, I accept this now. I truly am indebted. Many thanks. That looks delicious. Mm-hmm. Snooty agrees without taking a break. You know, searching for those coconuts was thirsty work. I'm sure it was. She's still lapping at the water. Oh, my throat's a bit scratchy. Especially in this heat. Snooty Booty finally comes up for air. Quite. That's the beauty of the coconut, you see. So hydrating and most palatable too. You really ought to try it sometime. I look down at the now dry palm leaf. Yes, that's a good idea, Boots. I was hoping you would share, but... And the very best thing after drinking coconut water is to curl up and have a nap, you know? Beauty's sleep is most important. Oh, is that so? Indeed, human. I suppose you have other things to do now? Well... Snooty Booty yawns and closes her eyes. I suppose I do. Sweet dreams, princess. She snores softly in reply. So she has some manners. Not all of them, or a whole lot, but some. I can respect that. Fuck it, let's do another romance with... You only have one heart remaining. If you choose to continue, it could have negative consequences. Oh, okay. So... I have 4 hearts, but I should really only use 3, is what it's telling me. So, let's be smart, I guess. Trixie and Kibbles have brought me to the ridge where the pools of colored water collect. We call them the rainbow pools. It's a beautiful day, and there's a vivid rainbow across the sky. Kibbles is over the other side from me, shouting, "Wow, look at this! Come over here!" He sounds further away than he is. My hearing isn't quite right, but I don't mind. What is it? You need to see it! Suddenly I'm beside him. He's looking over the edge of the cliffs, and when I look down, the sea is further away than I expect. It's such a long way down. Do you see? And I feel a push from behind, and as I begin to fall, I hear Trixie laugh. Meanies! Curiosity did what? And I'm not falling at all. I'm floating, light as a feather. Fly, little bird, fly away home. Am I having a weird dream? I don't understand. Maybe I'm having a weird dream. This is the best feeling ever. I'm going higher now, up towards the rainbow. I am going to touch it. Mind you don't get scorched by the sun. I feel myself being shaken. Homie, you really ought to go in now. It's too hot up here to sleep. I'm on the patch of scrub grass beside my tent. I was just having a moment of shut-eye in the sun, but I must have fallen asleep. Okay, that's what it was. Oh, thank you, Trixie. I smile at the calico cat as I surreptitiously, I don't know, scratch at the prickly heat on my legs. Let's do another recon. Yes! Look into the strange message. It's weird, it doesn't go like by days. It's just sort of like, because they say we're on a timer, but also it's just kind of like it all blurs to just be like, oh, time's passing, but we don't really know, I guess. I hear my catalog beeping. This music sounds really nice. Hold on. I could listen to this a lot. I hear my catalog beeping. I presume it's the professor, and tumble out of bed, half asleep, and fumble around looking for the device. I look at the screen, my eyes struggling to focus. The message isn't from the professor at all. There's no contact information. Come outside. Who is this? Come outside. They obviously aren't going to respond to my question. Should I do as the message tells me? Let's be idiots and do it! My curiosity is roused, and it's probably gonna kill me as a cat. I have a feeling there's something important to learn from this stranger, so I throw on my clothes and crawl out of my tent. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. Anyone out here? The catalog beeps again. Walk to the edge of the forest. I'm not going anywhere further until you tell me who you are. Walk to the edge of the forest. No! Walk to the edge of the forest. Walk to the edge of the forest. Walk to the edge of the forest. Stop it! By now, I realize I have walked to the edge of the forest. At the edge of the forest, I see something on the ground. As I get closer, it becomes clear that it's a small posy of flowers. I gently pick them up and notice that several of the flower heads are missing. The catalog beeps again. Follow the petals. And that's when I see the trail of little orange petals, the same color as the bouquet I'm holding. Well, I've come this far. No turning back now. I begin to walk. I'm nervous, so I call out. Hello? No answer. Louder this time. Hello? 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 Who is that? Who goes there? Major, is that you, Floofy Butt? I really wish you wouldn't call me that, human. What on earth do you think you're playing at? Covering around the forest in the dead of night, causing a ruckus. Oh, Major, you don't know how pleased I am to see you. I need your help. And this can't wait until a civilized hour? Cats don't have civilized hours. I'm afraid it can't. I'm not the one instigating this. I've been getting messages from an anonymous source asking me to follow them into the forest. Look, they left this trail. Ah! Calendula maritima, marigolds, herb of the sun. They're said to represent creativity, though some believe them to be symbols of cruelty and grief. Your knowledge is always so impressive, but I have to say on this occasion, it's not very comforting. Floofy Bucket goes striding off with purpose. Come along then, Zoe. Are we going to follow this trail or not? I shuffle awkwardly behind him. Before the sun comes up, babe. We continue on for a short while and notice that the petals are getting more sparse. It's becoming more and more difficult to see them, until eventually they seem to run out, and we find ourselves at a small clearing. Well, it appears somebody has been playing a joke on you, Zoe. I sadly agree. This has been nothing but a wild goose chase. Seems so, Major. I'm sorry for dragging you into this. Let's get back to our beds before we waste any more precious snooze time on this fool. I turned to Floofy Butt. I noticed that his back is arched and his fur is puffed up, making him look even more floofy than usual. Something wrong, Major? You tell me, human. Does that pile of rocks look suspicious to you? Amongst the myriad rock piles, I notice a small, contrived-looking cairn? Floofy Butt's right. It looks far from natural. That looks to me like it's asking to be inspected, Major. Well, get to it, Zoe. You're the one with the thumbs. I begin to dismantle the small mound, rock by rock. It's not until the foundation stone is removed that we find a manila envelope. Major, look! It's a letter! Looks rather large for a letter, my dear. Think you ought to open it. Here? Or back at base? Having got you this far, I think it's only fair that I have equal share of the spoils. Spoils? Yes, perhaps we should look right now, Major. As I'm speaking, I've torn into the envelope. Well, out with it! It looks like drawings? What sort of drawings? I'm not sure, but they look quite old, antique even. But do they have value, human? Probably to someone. They appear to be sketches of people here on the island, but I don't recognize anyone. How would someone lead me to these? How do you know you were meant to find them? Because we followed a trail and it led us here. Actually, the trail ended a while back. This could be a mere coincidence. I hardly see the intrigue in a few old scribbles. They show no artistic flair at all. Even so, I'm going to hang on to these to see if they prove relevant to whatever mystery is unfolding here on this island. Floofy rolls his eyes. You really ought to focus more on the clues that matter, instead of running around in the middle of the night on wild goose chases. Let's head back before anybody discovers you're missing. I roll the drawings up and tuck them into my waistband. I will study them when I have more time. I think Floofy Butt is probably right, but I don't want to miss a track. Get some rest now, Zoe. Finally, a sensible suggestion. I head after Floofy Butt, struggling to keep up. I really need some sleep. I like saving the romance, so let's do research again. So samples and rounding up. Let's do cat collection. It's a sunny afternoon. Most of the cats are lazing on the beach. Perfect! Like shooting fish in a barrel. I double check my supply list. Crate, treats, sedatives, snare, catnip, antiseptic cream for myself. I've got everything. I have a sick feeling in my tummy, but I ignore it as best I can. This is going to be a challenge, but I'm pleased the professor is trusting me with the more physical tasks. I walk out onto the beach, feeling like the child catcher. Keep reminding myself that I'm doing this for the greater good, even if it makes me unpopular with the cats. I set up the crate in an unsuspecting location and keep the snare hidden behind my back. At first I stroll around, trying to look as casual as possible, whistling a tune as I walk. I get close to one of the smaller cats. I start to stroke her. I want this to be as painless as possible. The cat responds well to me. She even starts to purr gently. Are you going to come with me? The cat looks at me with big, wide, loving eyes. Come on then. I pick the cat up, carrying her to the crate, and place her gently inside. I lock it shut, even though the cat makes no attempt to escape. Well, that went better than expected. This may be a good day after all. Emboldened by my success, I approach one of the slightly larger cats. Hey, matey, shall we get in the basket? I give him a little stroke. He doesn't respond badly, although he doesn't seem particularly interested either. Put my hands on either side of his body, ready to pick him up. He doesn't look happy about it and growls a warning at me. Hey, mister, it's gonna be okay. We're just going on a little trip, alright? And as soon as I start to lift, all hell breaks loose. Yowling and hissing, he scratches my arms to ribbons. I try to get him into the basket, but he stretches out and I can't fit him in. Ow, no! I know when I'm defeated and I have to let him go. He scarpers off into the distance. I look down at my ravaged arms. Note to self, wear long sleeves when on caging duty. That sounds about right.